So as a quick look at the final farms, I've added in my double witch up perimeter. I have a record farm down there, an ink farm. I really like this design. I'll show that shortly, and also this gunpowder and string farm. This is the basic setup where you have the signal coming down from below that activates the dispensers that floods the platforms, and in its off state, all the platforms are flooded, which is important in a perimeter with a whole bunch of different farms in it. You need to be able to turn the farms off to make sure they don't interfere with each other. Got this basic design, of course, from Nembon's thing, and I'm just using it for whatever. Once you could waterlog some of the blocks, I'm using that instead of whatever it was that some other people have used. Then, of course, this one is currently both for spiders and creepers. This one I added in some glass blocks to prevent spiders from spawning in there. So this one is only creepers. So that way I get a bit more gunpowder than string. I don't currently have a use for a lot of string, but I do go through a bit of gunpowder. Over here's a record farm. I didn't have one previously. I finally went ahead and set one up, and ran it for a while, and then I turned it off because there's only so much use for records, and these kind of stack up. I believe it's common knowledge that the skeletons, that the arrows won't be able to go through 5 layers of water. They'll end up falling down here, so they can't actually hit the iron golem. And this is very small spawning space, and as you saw in the time lapse, you have a lot of bats in there. So if I want to speed this up, I could set up somewhere where that only bats could spawn, so they could stay in there and wouldn't prevent the creepers from spawning. But since there's stuff stacks up so quickly, and there's really not much use for that many music discs. There's no, I don't care. Yeah, and at some point the skeletons disappeared. I don't know why. I don't know what happened to them. So as you saw in the time lapse, I left this here as a little place where at night you can have stuff spawn in, and you can sort them out and then get just the skeletons on in here. And this, you switch it back and forth, it switches up which slot the skeletons can fall into. So not much to say about this one. This is a basic record farm. I finally got around to building one. I don't know if I'm ever going to run it again. I got too much stuff as it is. I just replaced the skeletons and ran it for the sake of the time lapse. I think this is the most interesting thing that I've recently built up in here. Is an ink farm, and I've seen some of them that take a bit more work, where you have to fill up with sugar cane, which I used for my old ink farm. As long as you have it lit up, then none of the drowned are going to spawn in there anyway. Oh. And to turn it on and off, of course, to just send the signal up the tower. It's a little slow. There's faster ways of doing it, but it works. And it just turns on and off the redstone lines up here, so it'll dispense out, drop out all the water. So there are blocks around the block below the dispenser up at the top to keep the water from flowing out to the sides. Then, of course, there's a plus shape with the center open fence gate down a little bit to make sure that the water won't spill out to the sides anywhere at the bottom. It really is that simple. And obviously you can build it with cheaper or different materials. I noticed this in the replay video. I think I need to add a little roof to keep lightning from hitting anything down here, setting the stuff on fire. I assume that's what happened to this. But it was covered over. And of course the ink just comes down to here, and there's a quick clock that drops it out into the water stream that brings out to the center. Back here, so I came back here to my really old main base to take a look at my old ink farm. So it's down here in the river. I cleared out a whole bunch of water all over the area to make sure there was nowhere for stuff to spawn except here. And then I have the basic sugar cane with kelp growing up inside. Well, it's supposed to be all the water columns, but apparently only some of them, I guess, to prevent drown from spawning. But yeah, this is what I relied on for my ink back in the day. I had an AFK spot up there. So harvesting was just when everything fell, you can hear it impacting above, and they just be picked up by hopper minecarts down here, and all put down into the double chest down here. And just anything that wasn't an ink sack would be disposed. And it seems to me a bit easier to, instead of using these things that you have to worry about breaking and where the placing is a little odd and difficult to just clear out the entire area, use light sources to light the stuff up, and then use fence gates down at the bottom to keep the water from spreading out. And I think it's a bit easier, a bit less work to do it the way I have it in my new perimeter, rather in my new ink farm. But this one definitely worked at the time. So with those new farms, that's going to be the last that I'm really going to be building in this area here, in this perimeter. That was cool to have a double witch hut perimeter. It's been useful for redstone and all the other witch drops. I do need to add one more chunk down there. And obviously you can add more layers and make it faster, but I like the design. Yeah, I think in the new perimeter I'm building, I may end up adding a number of faster slime farms, but I mean, I got plenty of slime blocks already, you know, a few 100,000 or something crafted up, so it's not like I actually need it. So it's been nice to have the space to build some additional important farms, and then just to play around with some things like the mob head farm here. It was nice to have some extra space available, and I just threw it together real quick and made it work. So this is a little messy. I should probably clean that up. I still have a bunch of storages sitting around. Yeah, so this storage I think was for the mob head farm mostly, probably also a little for the record farm. I still have this storage here. This is the storage when I first came in and built the floor for this perimeter. I had a bunch of glass and sea lanterns over here, a bunch of other materials. So there's just a little bit I need to finish up and clean up, and then not only will these be the last farms, but then I'll actually have the perimeter completed. So yeah, with the perimeter being completed, however, with it basically being filled up, I now need to set up some additional space. So that's one of the main reasons I end up building my new perimeter. That's it's a bit of a larger scale. So except for just a little bit of cleanup, that's going to be the final state of my double witch hut perimeter with a whole bunch of other farms. It's kind of cool to be able to still have at least some maps to look back on what it used to look like. Where I just had the one witch hut, Nembon's basic general mob farm, and then a slime farm down below. And that was helped a lot to get me started off on some actually somewhat decent farms. Made a little progress since then. So that's all for this one. I just wanted to show the new farms I had. I think the ink farm is a design I haven't seen elsewhere though. I assume someone else has probably already come up with it. Just figured I'd toss it out there. Hope you enjoyed. Cheers.